12 minutes you gave me, and 11 questions I counted. Let's see how many I can do. I start with what inspires us, peace movement, and I will answer that Åland inspired us, because when I just flew here a couple hours ago, next to me was a Swedish woman who was retired. She was a kindergarten teacher, and she had been in Åland and participated a demonstration there against Russian, outside Russian consulate. And she said that they have been doing that for 500 days a row. And she was very inspired about that, and she said the atmosphere was great. They were chanting, they were having a quiet moment for the victims of the war, and what else, they were singing together. And she said it is so nice to do something. And the peace movements to do this without hate against Russians. This is the key one task for peace movement. How we can be against war, but not against nation, not against people. How do we differentiate that? And how do we can't be upset about somebody, some country or some army breaking the rules. We can be upset. We can even be angry. Aggression, can we be aggressive? I think Martin Luther King Jr. used even the word aggression, that aggression is okay. You can be aggressive because that gives you energy. The question is, how do we use that energy? Whatever, yes, from aggression, from hate, from this anger. We are upset. How do we put that energy, he said, controlled way to constructive, to do something constructive? There is a task for us. How to put the energy controlled to something constructive. Sorry, I don't have the exact quote, but the point, I think you got the point. How to mobilize the anger energy. Thank you. That's one of our tasks. Okay, the second inspiration, the history of peace movement. Sorry, just a couple words about history, but I think it's important to have a long perspective. And Thomas here said something very negative about this year, and he was right. Unfortunately, he was right. We have a tough year behind us, and many things have gone to the bad direction. But I want to remind you, 122 years ago, when peace people gathered in Glasgow, and they came up with this word, pacifism. Pacifism word is 122 years old. So at that time, there was no organization for nations, countries. There was no platform for countries to talk about peace and human rights issues. There was that didn't exist, and peace movement was saying that should exist. We should start that kind of organization. And the other thing was that war was not only legal, but it was common and accepted. It was very much more accepted than today. I recommend warmly, I'm reading a book called The Internationalists from Yale University professors in international justice history. And they are very much optimistic, saying that there used to be this old world order when war was legal and normal and accepted, morally accepted. And after the Kellogg-Briand Agreement, 1928, it became illegal, unusual. We are very upset about the war today, but it is one sign that we are so upset and we are so surprised. It actually shows that the international court system is working. It has reduced the amount of war. Wars between nations have gone down. If you look from the whole era after the Second World War, not only the amount of war, but also the victims of the war, both civilians and soldiers, have gone. It was up to 200 per 100,000 people during the Second World War. It was 20 during the Korean War. It was 10 during the Vietnam War. Now, since the end of Cold War, it has been 1.5. From 20 to 1.5 after the Second War. The direction is down. So if you look from long perspective, there is something positive to say. The next question, debates in the peace movement about NATO membership. The Finnish peace movements have been against NATO all the time, systematically, and this war have created lots of polarization and lots of black and white thinking, and NATO has come to that very, very clearly. My personal fight against NATO, when the membership came up to become realistic, I have been very passive. The speed has been so fast. I have felt like, even though I'm an extremely optimistic person, I have felt like there's no way we can stop this. And that's what happened. Finland became NATO member. The support of NATO, according to media, went from 25% of people supporting NATO before the Russian aggression in Ukraine to 80% in the summer, last summer. And there are some people who don't believe those numbers, but I am teaching non-military service guys. We have an obligatory military system in Finland, and I am teaching the guys who don't want to go to the military. And I have been doing research on them, asking their opinions, and it has gone very hand in hand with the popular support of NATO. Even these non-military civil service guys have been supporting NATO almost up to 70%. Now it has come down under 50%, but it was up there. Then I have time for perhaps one more question. Thomas sent me, what role can our countries play in the peace building? Well, keep us on the good work you are doing and we are doing, fighting against militarism, polarization and injustice, for democracy, human rights, environmental and more fair world trade. And keep reminding that this is exactly what we have been doing, and this is exactly the opposite of Putin's politics. And this is what we have been saying, that if you militarize society, if you repress civil society, this is what happens. And this is what we have to now make sure that this atmosphere of today, this polarized atmosphere will not do to militarize our society. And I would like to see more cooperation with the Russian peace activists, peace movements. Definitely we should do that. Yes, let's applaud that. Pelle, what was his name? The Swedish peace activist Pelle. Now I don't remember his name, but he organized this Baltic Glory in yes, I got the time. Sundbyson, yeah, in Åland first, and then in a couple of times in Lovisa, and I was there 2 times, and it was wonderful to see Russian peace activists And I asked them if I was nervous, like is our if we are active with you, is it a danger for you? And they answered that yes, perhaps a little bit, but it doesn't matter. We need your support. They were really glad about our contacts and support, and that's something we definitely need to do. Thank you.